Time to talk about what happened. We'll go inside the locker room, dive into the numbers, and take your calls on the Green Bay football postgame show.
Sounds good. I'll put you on hold.
Let's get to Steve Sparky Pfeiffer to talk about today's game on The Fan.
How about it, Packers fans? I didn't see it coming. I'm guilty as charged. I said they would lose this game 27-17. That's what I said was happened. And I really thought that's what was going to happen. I really did. I did not think the offense would look as good as the offense looked to start this football game. I was impressed by this offense of the Green Bay Packers. I was impressed by Jordan Love there in the first half of this football game. Maybe not as impressed in the second half, but very impressed by Jordan Love in the first half of this football game. Impressed by the wide receivers not dropping footballs all over the place. That was impressive. Impressed by the idea that this team was spreading the ball around. They had eight different receivers catching the football there, I think, in the first quarter. I mean, that's impressive. You can key on one guy when you're spreading it all over the place like that. They run the football well in the first half. No. It picked up in the second half with Josh Jacobs in that offensive line. They finally figured out to run behind Banks and Walker, and that helped things a little bit because it wasn't working as well on the right side. So many things to be excited about after this victory for the Green Bay Packers, and you just have to be pumped, right? 27-13, Packers over the Detroit Lions. It is Green Bay Football postgame show live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Tommy Wirtz, other side of the glass, here to take your calls, your tweets. Get on YouTube, search The Fan Milwaukee. You're live streaming this bad boy. Get into the dugout for the YouTube chat. We can talk there as well. And, of course, we also have the talk and text line. Nicolay talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Let's hear from you, Packer fans. After this one, a big, big victory for the Green Bay Packers. They have as many wins in the division right now as they had all of last year. They have as many victories right now as they had all of last year inside of this division. And if you're a Lions fan, woo, it hurts. It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot.
Couldn't have happened to nicer people.
I was on the ticket twice in the last week since that Micah Parsons trade. Both hosts told me that I was talking to, Mark Ryan and Jeff Rieger, that Lions fans weren't worried about Micah Parsons. Big deal. They can't beat us with Micah Parsons. It doesn't matter. That ain't going to fix all their problems. One guy ain't going to fix everything. I got some news for you. He's not at 100%. He ain't full go yet. But Micah Parsons created problems, Tommy Wirtz, when he was on the field.
Absolutely. It was a total night and day difference in the pass rush, actually, when he wasn't on the field. The pass rush in the first half was kind of underwhelming without Micah Parsons on the field. Between Rashawn Gary was very quiet until he had his first sack of the day. Lucas Van Ness, though, that guy balled out. That is the best we have seen Lucas Van Ness play in a Green Bay Packer uniform. I don't even think it's close. He was flying all around the field. He was great on the edge, on the outside. On the first defensive possession, he met Gibbs on the line on a play, and he made the third tackle that was right after with Edgerrin Cooper on the pursuit when Micah Parsons had that first pressure that he had right in the very first play from him. That was easily the best we had seen from Lucas Van Ness. And even in the dugout chat here, Cornelius talking about the young interior defensive line showing out. They really got better as the game progressed, too. And that was the initial part where we saw Lucas Van Ness get his pressure from and get his first sack as well.
The other part about this, too, is Rashawn Gary showed up today, too, and had a couple of pressures. And I didn't. The entire time since we've been back after that Micah Parsons trade, it never clicked to me until I was driving in here in the end of the third, early fourth quarter, coming in to do the postgame show with Tommy, was, damn, you know something? Micah Parsons could really help Lucas Van Ness with pass rush moves and setting guys up and giving them tricks of the trade. And he's only been in the league 4 years, but man, Micah Parsons might be able to help Rashawn Gary too with a little something, helping him set up different guys. I mean, hey man, I've beat this guy a bunch of times. You do this, you set him up, and the next play you come back and do this, he falls forward every time. That type of stuff, that type of intel from Micah Parsons to some of these other pass rushers can be even as big as Micah Parsons and what he does on the field, Tom.
Yeah, and they had 4 sacks today from their defensive line in general. I mean, that's on pace for 68 sacks in the seat, right? Like, that would be a huge flip for Green Bay if they were able to do that. And another thing we have to mention right now, because I did say the pass rush was a little nerve-wracking when Parsons wasn't there at times, like the corners today, who all had a massive target on their back. No Nate Hobbs also in this game. And now you're going to be rocking out there with Bo Melton might get some chances. Javon Bullard's got to play the nickel. Like, great coverage on some really good weapons from Detroit as well today. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a couple of moments in this game. Jamison Williams virtually non-factor in this game. And really, they just kept checking it down to Jahmyr Gibbs and Cooper and Quay Walker. They're the 2 most athletic tandem maybe in the NFL after one game. I can say that. They were able to chase them down every time. 10 catches for Jahmyr Gibbs for just 31 yards.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is. Got a bunch of people getting into the Dugout YouTube chat right now. Again, all you have to do to get in is search The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube, and you can watch the show streaming live right now. Also, we got the Nicolay Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Twitter, Facebook. I'm going to put Tommy in charge of watching Facebook comments over there and doing the Dugout chats as well. I'll take care of the calls on this side after the Packers get a victory today. Greg in Waukesha, you're first up on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. What's up, Greg?
Hey, Sparky. Hey, you just said something that made me that proved the point I was actually going to make. Good players elevate other players. The Packers played next man up today. Yeah, they had some injuries. Yeah, and I hope they're not bad injuries, but I was impressed by the next man upness on the defense, and the combination of Van Ness and Parsons, I think, is just going to be a great combination for Green Bay. I just hope that the offense, Love did throw to a lot of people today. He got a few touchdowns off of that, but I'd like to see more next man up, mentality on the offensive line. Although you did have the right tackle today, Corey.
Colby Wooden's on the defensive line. On the offensive line, you had Zach Tom go down, you had Kennard come in, and then at the end, you had Belton come in, the second-round pick.
Yeah, and that was awesome. So would love to see more of that. But yeah, great team victory today, especially on the defense. And hopefully more things like this to come.
No doubt. But Greg, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. You can dial it up as well. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Sparky with you, along with our guy Tommy Wirtz, other side of the glass. It's all about really all about this dude.
2nd and 10. As Goff's being chased by Parsons. Look out. He's got him. His first sack as a Green Bay Packer.
They got a twist, another twist. You go up, under, and look at the effort, the speed, the closing ability, the bend. Micah Parsons, you're in Green Bay, and they are happy.
Number one for number one.
That fired me up so hard. That one
is going to be played a million times between now and the Super Bowls. They win with them, Tommy.
Yeah, that's you're farther ahead than I am, but today is a great day. That was an awesome performance. I think he only had 11 snaps, they said, in the first half of the game, and then they really ramped him up in the second half. And we had saw Micah Parsons
29 snaps, 1 sack, 3 quarterback pressures in 29 snaps.
We saw him get out of that pile, and we saw that Goff had no idea Parsons was behind him. And that chase down ability, the freak athleticism, you saw it on display right there. Yep. And he is a completely different, it is a completely different defense. I think that the pass rush will be so much better than it was last year. But also, like I said, I just think that the corners also, no one being a liability today when there was a lot of weapons for Detroit as well that could have made a lot bigger impacts on this game. Got to give them some credit too.
Yeah, listen, there's a couple of things here. We came into this game saying, okay, the expectations for Detroit was they're going to probably take a little bit of a step back, at least in the beginning part of the season. You have a new offensive coordinator. You got a new defensive coordinator. So you're looking at that going, there's probably going to be some communication issues. Goff's going to have to get on the same page with Morton and get into a rhythm. We had Lomas Brown on Friday on Wisconsin Sports Daily, and we had Gilbert Brown on. But Lomas Brown, who's an analyst, radio analyst for the Lions and former Lions offensive lineman, he talked about it with me when we had the conversation of, yes, Jared Goff probably got better under Ben Johnson, sure. But what makes a great offensive coordinator is building play off of play and telling that story as you go, setting up something for later in the game and like the first quarter or second quarter, and then off of that, hitting a big play later in that game in the second half and building. That's what makes Matt LaFleur so good. When he gets to feeling it and it's flowing, this offense can't be stopped. That, I think, is part of what happened with the Detroit Lions. They just never got into a rhythm offensively.
Well, and it didn't even take Matt LaFleur that long. We saw the third drive on the offense, a 2-play drive, right? There was the huge shot play to Romeo Doubs, and then Jaden Reed, welcome back. Jones fracture looks like it's not hindering him too much. Had some good punt returns today. I thought the special teams units looked very good as well today, which is always seems to be some sort of liability for Green Bay down the stretch in a season. But this was also, I mean, there was really one ball that felt like that could have been caught. Not even should have been caught, but there was the one on third down, I believe it was, to Jaden Reed later on in the game, where it was the tough play right near the end zone and it ended in a McManus field goal. But I thought that otherwise, like there is not a lot to look at from this game and think poor about Green Bay heading down the stretch of the season.
It's Tommy Wirtz, Sparky Fiver here. Packers get the win. We got some stuff going on over there on YouTube as well. This is the thing. Before we get into some of the YouTube comments, and again, still open lines for if you want to jump in, 414-677-1250, is how much you were hyped before this game. And now after you watch them play, after most of these guys on offense have been hurt the entire training camp and preseason, and now seeing how good they looked in the first game with really no practice time together at all. Love playing with that, surgically repaired left thumb, that whole deal. Like Charlie brought up with the Jaden Reed foot injury, Dontavian Wicks hasn't been playing. To see them come out and get into this type of rhythm this quick. I was talking to my dad earlier. He's like, well, Super Bowl. I was like, well, hold on. It's halftime of the first game. Let's slow our roll before we get into talking about Super Bowl. But I was fully prepared for, okay, maybe they'll go 0-2 to start the season. And if that happens, who cares? They're going to be fine. They just got to find their rhythm. Now you look at Washington on Thursday, and you feel confident like, hey, they might come back and beat Washington on Thursday too now.
Yeah, and like we were talking about beforehand, you felt like you were at least on pace if you were 1-1 in these first two games with Detroit and Washington. And now you feel like you're way ahead of the game because this team did not just showcase and put up a game where, hey, they found a way to win. They dominated Detroit. I mean, there's one garbage time touchdown in this, and it would have been really awesome to see Jeff Hafley pitch a no touchdown performance against Detroit to start things off. But that touchdown with a minute left in the game when you're down 27-6, like without Micah Parsons on the field, right? And no one is upset with any of the performances, I think, on the defensive side. And it was all bend, don't break, no big plays, like so prototypical Jeff Hafley defense.
Kenny Clark is gone. So
4th and 2. They throw him down. That's Wyatt. How about those last two defensive series by the Packers?
This is the thing, man. You get in the second half, and even in the first half with Colby Wooden, yes, Kenny Clark is gone, but they just rotate guys in the middle of that line, and guys were being disruptive. Guys were getting into the backfield. Guys were opening up things for other guys on stunts. It was one thing after another. This pick here by Evan Williams was set up by what? A Micah Parsons pressure.
Parsons in on this play, which is a 3rd and 7. Pass intercepted. Jumping in front of St. Brown. There was pressure from Parsons, and Evan Williams has the theft.
This is why you make this trade.
Exactly. Even if Micah Parsons doesn't get that sack in the second half, he did everything you wanted him to do when he was on the field. Like literally everything you want to. His very first play, he comes into the game, his very first play, this happens.
Here's Goff from the pocket. Got away from Parsons. Swings it over to Gibbs. Gibbs, nowhere to go. And Van Ness has his second tackle in the first 3 plays and a loss of 2.
Micah Parsons wins inside against a perennial all-pro in Sewell right here. And I can tell you, this is the difference in getting that first down or not, because Goff was about to throw the dig route right up on the inside right. But as soon as Parsons moves him off his spot, didn't have the time. That is what we call a difference maker.
It's totally different. They haven't had anybody like this since Reggie White. You come at me with Clay Matthews. Okay, I'll listen to Clay, but this dude here is something completely different. Those highlights brought to you by, of course, CBS 58. Thanks to them. But, man, it just doesn't get any better than what we got going on right now. Back out to the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. You can hop aboard as well, 414-677-1250 after the Packers beat the Lions today. Tony in Texas, you're next in the Green Bay Football postgame show. What's up, Tony?
Sparky, great day to be a Wisconsin sports fan. Brewers win. Packers win. It's a good day.
Cubs lose. Phillies lose.
Cubs lose. Phillies lose. It's an awesome day to be a Wisconsin sports fan. Spark, if I had to ask you right now, or before the game, what was the Packers' weakness on defense?
Oh, man, I don't know what I would have said. Corner, maybe?
Didn't they make that irrelevant today?
Absolutely. And that was what was said when they got Parsons was, look, if you get enough of a pass rush, you don't have to worry about the corners nearly as much.
Right. It's you're not going to have a Charles Woodson every year, those kind of guys that are just lockdown corners that we've had in the past. So what they got right now, though, is a wrecker in Micah Parsons, who's going to be a first-team Hall of Famer if things project the way they should. And that just makes everyone better. Lucas Van Ness, for crying out loud, looked like a great player today, Spark.
Sure did. So, and he was making plays from the jump, as you heard in that one highlight.
All right. I just want to review all 3 phases. Defense, awesome. They look the real deal. They look the part. Definitely championship quality. Special teams under Bisaccia, much improved. Liked everything I saw in that. Offense, I just think, and this is going to be small and you might disagree, Matt LaFleur is just got to drop the hammer on these teams like Detroit. You just got to do it. I know they won the game, but I would just like to send a message like, you're not going to mess with us today. You're not going to mess with us the rest of the year.
That's all I got. Okay, fair enough. Thanks for the call. This is my thing. I've said it before. I'm going to continue to say it all year. I don't want Jordan Love throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. I have no interest in seeing Jordan Love throwing the ball 35 to 40 times a game and asking them to win games like that. I am okay with what happened today. If you look at it, we're going to go inside the box score in the next segment. He only had 22 attempts. Josh Jacobs had 19 carries. That's what I want to see. That's the balance I want, right? 22 attempts to 19 carries. I'm happy with that. If that's what this offense looks like week to week going forward, and that's what you're asking of Jordan Love, yes, this is how you win football games, what you saw today. And in most games, if we're being honest, they're going to run the ball better in the first half than they did against the Lions today, because most teams don't have what the Lions have up front to deal with, right? So in most games, Jacobs can get going a little bit earlier, which is going to open up this offense even more. That's how you're going to win. That's how you're going to continue to dominate throughout the season, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily completely agree with you, because I'll watch first half Jordan Love 17 weeks out of the year, and I'll rewatch it the other weeks that aren't playing Packer football at this point.
Right, but then you saw second half Jordan Love.
Yeah,
see, that's the thing.
They got into it. They were already in a position where they knew they were ahead in the game.
I understand. I'm just saying, realistically, you can't expect Jordan Love to play like he did in the first half.
Why? They paid him $55 million. Why?
That very well may be. I just don't think he can do it.
I disagree, because we saw it for a full half a season 2 years ago, and then we saw it now today, very reminiscent. We also saw first half Jordan Love from last year a little bit today, where he's making some dumb throws and trying to force it a little too hard. But you see, when they get into a position where they come out ahead, Matt LaFleur had a beautiful script written up for the first drive of the game.
Yep.
They got out to they gave him a little bit of confidence. They got out ahead of Detroit, and they let Jordan Love cruise and coast, and they never even once told him, hey, make sure you find this guy or find this guy. It was absolutely by committee in this game. And when we go inside the box score, like, it'll even showcase it even more.
We'll do that coming up next. The Green Bay Packers take care of business today at home. They have as many wins right now after week 1 than they did all of last year inside the division. It's going to be a good year. Packers win 27-13. Green Bay football postgame show. Broadcasting live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Still to come, we'll hear from Matt LaFleur. We'll hear from Jordan Love. Ryan Wood, our Green Bay Press-Gazette Packers beat writer. He's going to join us on all of our different shows throughout the week, throughout the Packers season. And he's going to join us on post-game shows after every game. He's coming up still later in the show as well. Back after this. How about it, Packer fans? We are rolling after week 1. Micah Parsons. See, again, telling you, this is the stuff that Packer fans have been begging for 20 years. Please be aggressive and go get somebody. Please be aggressive and go get somebody. They finally got aggressive, and they went and got somebody. Did you all see the other report that came out about this? Packers win, by the way, 27-13. The Packers were trying to get Trey Hendrickson, the defensive end from the Cincinnati Bengals, earlier in the summer. Yes, they were. They were offering up, according to reports, Kenny Clark and a middle-round pick to try and get Trey Hendrickson to the Packers. So they tried to get Trey Hendrickson, couldn't get it done. And then they set their sights and got super aggressive to get Micah Parsons. And I would say it paid off big time with Micah Parsons for sure. All right, let's go inside the box score. Jordan Love, 16 of 22, 188, 2 touchdowns on the day, no picks, no sacks. How about some love from the Packers offensive line? In the first half of this game, he sat there, could have read War and Peace. You young guys may not know what that is. Google it. Could have read War and Peace back there, I tell you. Had all the time in the world to pick these dudes apart. And he did not disappoint. And again, this offensive line, Rasheed Walker hadn't played most of training camp or preseason next to Banks, and Banks was out hurt too. So that was a whole new thing on the left side of this line for this Packers team. Did they run block exceptionally well? They did in the second half. The first half, they were trying to go to the right side, which I get, right? You had Tom and Ryan or Tom and Morgan as Sean Ryan and Jordan Morgan were rotating in at right guard. Then Zach Tom goes down. Kennard comes in, who got from the Philadelphia Eagles. Does a good job. And then after he goes out, they try Belton in there for the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game to get him some experience at right tackle. Like A+ to this offensive line today. For the most part, I was very happy with how they looked. There was some pressure there in the second half, but I thought they did very well against this defense.
Oh, yeah, the offensive line. I mean, I was taking notes throughout the entire game, and it felt like every drive I'm just thinking like, wow, offensive line is the MVP of that drive. Offensive line holding up great. I mean, you're talking about a defense that, Aiden Hutchinson is no joke of an edge rusher either, right?
Correct.
I mean, this guy was another non-factor in the game. The only time you heard his name really was he knocked down Jordan Love and got the penalty for it. Like he was a non-factor. Zach Tom, phenomenal job. We'll wait to hear on an injury update from him, obviously. But even like Greg was talking about with the next man up mentality, and we've been seeing this all summer with the Brewers already. Yep. And now the Packers get to emulate that by bringing in Kennard to have no issue with that. They were rotating Jordan Morgan in all over the place with Sean Ryan already in the game. And then Belton comes in at the back end too. The offensive line looked, I didn't think it was going to be this big of a difference because we both were in the boat of like last year, the offensive line was not that terrible. This year, whoa,
it's
very
early.
good first game.
It's early, but very good first game. Absolutely agree. And again, they literally said without saying, we're going to go bigger, right? When you bring Belton in, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to say this so you hear it in week 1 because I've been saying it before in Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, weekday afternoons 2 to 5. I'm going to say it again. Next year maybe, you could have Jordan Morgan at left tackle, Banks at left guard, Jenkins in the middle, right guard could be Zach Tom, and the right tackle could be Belton.
Yeah.
If Belton proves it at points, that could be the offensive line. And that offensive line is beefy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a beefy line.
But also at the same time, they weren't maulers, right? The run game really never took off at any point for Green Bay.
The left side got going there in the second half a little bit.
But as far as the pass protection,
yes.
you said it. Jordan Love, when you give him that much time, you give any NFL quarterback as much time as he was going to get. Like that was going to be a carving, and that's exactly what Jordan Love did in that first half, especially.
All right, let's get to the phone lines. Nicolay Love, Fan Talking text line. Let's hear from you. Let's celebrate together. Packers get a win 27-13 over the Lions. Green Bay football postgame show live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Tommy Wirtz, other side of the glass. Just like last year, we're doing it again. Still to come, Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love. We'll hear from Ryan Wood, Packers beat writer from the Green Bay Press-Gazette before we get out of here, too. Having a lot of fun. You can, too, watch us on YouTube, and you can chat along in our dugout there like you can for all of our local shows by just searching The Fan Milwaukee. There's a bunch of comments there. I'll have Tommy pick them apart and do that. Facebook, you're there. Tommy will read some Facebook comments. Twitter, we're there, too, at The Fan Milwaukee. All kinds of way to communicate. And all over the country. Nate in Orlando, you're next on The Fan. What's up, Nate?
What's up, Sparky? Long time Milwaukee and now in Orlando. But I just wanted to first pay you a compliment, man. You're an awesome broadcaster. I'm sure you love, calling Wisconsin sports.
Love it.
But, if you ever do want to be in a different market, I hope you get it, man, because you're great at what you do.
Nate, I'd love to retire and be a host on like one of those like boat rides or something at Disney World. I think that would be a lot of fun. That's what I want to do.
I love that answer, man.
Yeah.
Really unexpected. But
I'm just being honest, man. I love Disney World.
There's the Disney Kingdom.
Yes, I would love it. On the right. Yeah, I totally do it. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. You're great, man. But I just want to say, I think we become like prisoners of going too much off of like the previous season. Like I know the Lions have been good for a couple years, The Lions, I do not expect them to be like the Packers, where all of a sudden they're like a perennial contender. They lost their defensive corner, their offensive coordinator, their center, their guard. Like, they've lost a lot. And I think we're just saying, oh, look at how good their running backs are. But, like, you got to look at it as a whole. If your line's not as good, your running backs aren't going to look as good. And, yeah, they're going to go out. The Packers are going to absolutely have one of the best defenses this year. So the Lions are still going to go out there and win games. But I don't think they're going to be what they were. I don't know why so many people had them 15 wins. It's not going to happen. And I think, today probably illustrated that a little bit. But you saw how many times Micah, they could have had a completion, but he's just completely disrupting the play. And the Packers become victims where they're just always drafting too low to get a pass rusher like that. They don't have the cap to trade for one because those are the guys that go for the most. And they just never have this except for when they, had Reggie. So it's amazing. It's going to be a really exciting season.
And the other thing, too, Jeff Hafley wasn't messing around. Right away, he's moving Micah Parsons all over. He's lining up over center at one point in this game and drawing a double team.
Yeah, and if I say one more thing before I do get let go, that was awesome. Everyone is saying, oh, well, when Dallas, they're just going to run at him, like you can just run at Micah. And my point was like, well, he started as an outside linebacker, so they could line him up there. They could have him like they did over center, so it's like to just run at him. That seems tough to me if a defensive coordinator is using them creatively. And then also, obviously, you saw how they're not always having them in there on obvious rundowns.
Yep.
So they can, unless the team is going to go into the hurry to prevent substitutions, which that's obviously going to be a strategy. You can see that teams are going to roll into the hurry up. So if Mike is on the sideline, you can't sub him in. But if you don't want to do that, you want to actually be able to, take your time and call plays. The Packers can just sub him in and out at will.
Yeah, so. Absolutely right, Nate. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening, man. Don't be a stranger. There he is, Nate in Orlando, checking in. And again, you can listen on the Odyssey app, right? We're always there for you. If you miss any of our local shows, Pack a Day Radio Show, weekday mornings, 8 to 9 with Andy Herman, Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, 9 to 11, and now middays with Thunder from 11 to 2 during the week right now. And then, of course, this show, Wisconsin Sports Daily, that I normally host with Charlie Usen producing from 2 to 5 weekday afternoons. All of those shows available wherever you download your favorite podcasts, iHeart, Odyssey, TuneIn, Spotify, whatever. Plus all of them on YouTube as well. We got shorts there. We got our videos there. Everything there for you to watch and listen to whenever you would like. Packers get to win 27-13 over the Detroit Lions. I want to get back to the calls, but I want to get to a couple of other things as well. This, for years, when Mason Crosby was kicking for the Packers, was never a big deal.
Uh-oh.
But now?
Could be 34 yards for McManus, who they signed last October the 16th. He came right in, immediately hit a game winner here in a game against the Texans in his first game, and hit 20 out of 21. And now he's 1 for 1 to start this campaign.
You remember last year? You remember?
No, I forgot. I tried to forget.
About how much of a fiasco this position was to start last year and how it was killing us week to week. And now from the jump, again, Brian Gutekunst got him signed in the offseason, which was target number 1, a kicker. And you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about the punter. You talk about Bisaccia and all this love he's going to get. But, man, Gute gets some love, too, taking care of the kicker and punter position.
Yeah, and even shoring up with, now the kick return position, looks like that's Savion Williams, right? You draft that guy where he can be a dynamic weapon on the offense at some point, but you give him a little bit of time because you have other guys ahead of him that you are maybe higher on. Well, now he's your number 4, number 5 wide receiver, and he can return the kicks. And you saw in the very first kick of the game, he had the big playability in him. It got called back from a holding, unfortunately. But even now the role with Jaden Reed, looks like that Jaden Reed role is going way away. And you know what? Now he can go in at punt return, and I don't feel so scared because he's not necessarily the number 1 weapon out there either, like they were trying to do at the beginning of the season last year. And it's shoring up all over the place. I seriously don't know. We could be nitpicky and find ways to complain about some things here and there about this game, but there is not a lot of negative, and there are way more positives to talk about with Green Bay.
And they don't even have Christian Watson yet.
Doesn't matter.
They don't even.
He's going to come back. He's going to step on a sunflower seed. It's going to be don't even register.
Come back.
I don't even need to think after this game. Oh, I can't wait to insert Christian Watson into this offense.
Offense is going to be even better.
No, I don't even.
they haven't really utilized that 2 tight end passing game yet, right? We're going to have a game this year.
Because did you see Musgrave caught the ball and immediately fell down? Like, the guy is a baby deer, man. All the time, man. Just stay up. The defender fell down in front of him, and he still got tackled by a guy on the ground.
They won. Settle down.
Look, now I'm finding a way to complain. Now I got it. I got my complaint. It's Luke Musgrave's feet. That's where I'm going immediately.
My goodness gracious. Johnny, you're next on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line after the Packers win, in case you didn't realize it. 27-13. What's up, Johnny?
Realize this is the tone of my week. This is depending on how my week was gonna go. So
yeah.
I just want to 3 quick points, and this don't count as a point. Goody we trust. I said this before. In Goody I trust. He fills these holes and finds these people that we need. I love Goody. Now, I wanted to ask you one: how long do you think we're gonna keep Hafley? I'm just scared. Like, this guy is good. This guy is darn good. I like Hafley. I just don't think we're going to keep him very long because the league going to love him. I mean, our defense has improved massively every year since he's been here. He got the players he wants. And letting go of Kenny Clark and Jair, I didn't expect them to perform like they did. They did. Thumbs up.
Hey,
2,
go ahead.
Yeah. 2, I just want to know if I'm the only one who agrees with this. A friend of mine doesn't. I'm kind of not sold on Quay Walker. I'm kind of done with him. I'm still seeing a lot of bonehead things. I understand that tackle for a loss he did, but he's out there all game. And I looked at his stats. He got 3 tackles. That's it. That's all we can get out of Quay. Edwin Cooper is massively outperforming this guy. And 3, Jordan Love. Yes, played well, and I'm only going to say played well because that ugly Jordan Love showed up again. When he's throwing off his back foot with his back foot fade thing, and every time he does that, it's an interception. It's a really bad miss, almost interception. So you had the question the other day, can Jordan Love win the MVP? And I said, yes, he can if he takes that step. And it's like he's still dead in the middle. We got a good dose of both Jordan Loves today. The Jordan Love that has the ability to be the MVP this year, and that Jordan Love that I don't know what he kind of want to be Aaron and Brett, and he jump throws and throws off his fadeaway. I hate it. I would love to see that disappear and go Pack go. But yeah, I'd like you to answer the question for me.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. So while you were talking, after you asked that question, I was sitting here trying to see if I could find rankings as far as assistant coaching salaries. And all I can find is I found college ones.
Yeah, it's hard to find those because those are not public information for the NFL, right?
See here if I can.
So I don't know if you're going to be able to get one.
So this is for me the thing is I don't know if Hafley wants to be a head coach in the NFL or not. Right? Hafley was a head coach at Boston College, so he's done it at the college level. Now you would automatically assume that if you're an assistant coach, that you would want to eventually become a head coach. But I will tell you from people that I have worked with in my past, where you've talked to them about, hey, man, do you have any interest in elevating and doing this? And the answer is nope. I have no interest in being in management. I don't want to be in management. I'm happy doing what I do. So thanks for the offer, but I'm good. Literally have happened in radio for years. So there's no guarantee he wants to go be a head coach again. But if, let's say Jeff Hafley gets offers in the next couple of years to be a head coach. And if Jeff Hafley goes back to Brian Gutekunst and says, I'll tell you what, man, I don't really want to be a head coach necessarily again, but the money looks pretty good. So if you can come close to giving me as a defensive coordinator the money that they want to pay me to be a head coach, I'll stay and I won't go. Now, I looked up top paid head coaches.
Yeah.
5th, I believe, is Sean McVay at around $13 to $15 million a year.
You're not going to get that as a coordinator.
You can't pay a coordinator that much money.
No. And on top of it, I think that he's going to be a commodity, like desired at this point. I mean, if that's just a little snippet of what Jeff Hafley had drawn up ready to go against Detroit, and he continues to do that throughout this season, and this Packers team is another top 5 defense in the NFL, he's gone. I mean, that's just guaranteed at this point, because while maybe you might feel like you're in a comfortable position, you can't pass up that money if you are Jeff Hafley. But you bring up a point about some people being comfortable. Like, I mean, how long has Spags been in Kansas City now?
But he's
right?
been a head coach and didn't go so well for him.
Okay, how about Bieniemy? Like, he just never got a job, or is he comfortable? Like,
never got a job.
I feel like he's still probably in that same boat of like, all right, I guess I'll just be a coordinator.
Yeah, he interviewed 100 times, just never got. Look, Sherm Lewis, you go back to Packers offensive coordinator, Sherm Lewis back with Holmgren. He never got a head coaching job. He interviewed 1 million times. He was never given that opportunity to be a head coach either. Let's continue going inside the box score here. After the Packers get that victory over the Detroit Lions, 1-0, 27-13 over the Lions. Again, Love 16 of 22, 188, 2 touchdowns. That's great. Jacobs 19 for 66 yards. You like that. Receiving, Romeo Doubs 2 for 68, Reed 3 for 45 and a score. Dontavian Wicks 2 for 30. Tucker Kraft 2 for 16 and a touchdown. Matthew Golden, the rook, had 2 for 16. Then Jacobs, Musgrave, Brooks, Fitzpatrick, and Savion Williams, even though that was like a pitch on an end-around type deal. Counts as a reception. What a weird way to get your first reception. But all with single catches in that game. Adrian Cooper led the team with 12 tackles, 8 of those, Tommy Wirtz, of the solo variety.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian Cooper, we've had some people in the chat here, like Michael asking, how do you think Adrian Cooper will evolve this season? Michael from Montana, thanks for listening. But I mean, I picked him on Andy Herman's show to Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I don't know if that was the campaign we saw today necessarily, but as far as expectations and ceiling I see in Adrian Cooper, it is as high as it gets for a middle linebacker. And we had, was it Johnny was complaining about Quay Walker and on the phone? Like, I thought this was a great game for Quay Walker stock too, like going up from there. He does not have to be the starting middle linebacker. He's the second linebacker out there. And those two guys, the athleticism that they bring is unmatched in the NFL. They covered Jahmyr Gibbs running to the outside all day today. And Micah Parsons having some complaints about where he is as a run defender, had a bunch of beautiful plays where he was able to set the edge and force them back inside too. I think that Adrian Cooper's star power is going to hit the NFL hard this year.
Again, you can do so many things, right? You could stand up and play Micah Parsons at a linebacker and have him blitz gaps. You could have Adrian Cooper blitz gaps. You have Quay Walker blitz and get home and tackle for losses at running back. Like, there are so many different ways that you can use these guys. I think Adrian Cooper has to make some splash plays, right? Has to make some interceptions during the year, big hits for fumbles, get some sacks to put himself on the
touchdown,
map.
Probably, right?
Put himself on the map during the year. Micah Parsons is going to do that. Micah Parsons is the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year going into week 1. So you're going to have to beat out your own dude, Tommy, if you want that.
Could Green Bay have 3 first-team All-Pro players by the end of the year on defense?
McKinney, Parsons, and Cooper?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, that seems possible.
And,
yes. And not out of the realm of possibility, at least. I mean, I know that Cooper and McKinney were both on the team last year, and I think McKinney, was he first team or was he second team AP last year?
I think he was first team.
Yeah, I think he was first team. Cooper's going to take that next step. I saw enough of it today where I am still confident in that. And then obviously the addition of Micah Parsons is already a first team All-Pro guy. Like, this team got very stacked very fast, it feels like, with Green Bay. And the defense today, like, just show out. I mean, that was unbelievable what they were able to do and neutralize Detroit all throughout the game. I thought it was just, like I said, I can't find a lot to complain about that doesn't involve Luke Musgrave staying on his feet.
Goff at the goal line. Goff! Did he get out? It's Rashawn Gary, who's been, I think, overlooked with this Parsons acquisition. He's on the other side of the edge, and they're going to mark him inside the 1.
You're exactly right, though. These are 2 bookends. Gary's been playing outstanding football for a while. Then you add Parsons, and he's had a great game today as well, and he's in great shape right now, and this is really close.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you right now, this Packers defense gonna be a tough one to deal with.
Jim Nantz obviously doesn't listen to Wisconsin sports radio talk because Rashawn Gary has been like, number 1, you need to do something. You are not being overlooked anymore now.
Well,
because
I will tell you a quick Jim Nantz story. I don't know if I've told you before. He called into my morning show back in like 2005, 2006 was
Oh.
driving back to the airport the day after a game or had just gotten in something. I don't know. But he was in the Milwaukee area listening. He's like, I think you guys have one of the best morning shows in the country. This is such a great morning show. Called in the listener line, man.
Drew Wagner asked me the last time we talked about Jim Nantz, do you think that if you hit the SAP button, it says, hola, amigos, right when it starts off instead of hello, friends? That was my Jim Nantz story that I had from recent memory.
I wouldn't use the Wagner comedy routine ever again. He is Tommy Wirtz over there. Steve Sparky Fiber with you. Packers win 27-13. On the other side, we got to hear from Matt LaFleur. We got to hear from Jordan Love. We're going to hear from Ryan Wood, who's there at the game in the locker room talking to all the players. Get to hear from all three of those guys coming up in the next hour, and still room for you as well. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Get in the dugout, the YouTube chat. Search for us right there on YouTube, The Fan Milwaukee. Listen on your Odyssey app. Respond to us on Facebook. I'll read some Facebook comments, some Twitter comments as well at The Fan Milwaukee. Packers win 27-13. Green Bay football postgame show live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
game is over, and it's time to talk about what happened. We'll go inside the locker room, dive into the numbers, and take your calls on the Green Bay Football postgame show. Let's get to Steve Sparky Pfeiffer to talk about today's game on The Fan.
All right, Packer fans, 27-13 win over the Detroit Lions. It is Green Bay Football postgame shows. We broadcast live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Lots to get here. Still plenty of time for you to hop aboard. Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. And just found out, coming up this hour, you're going to hear from Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Micah Parsons. Who else did I miss? I missed somebody else. Micah Parsons, Josh Jacobs, Colby Wooden, and Ryan Wood's calling here in the next 10 or so minutes. But before we hear from Ryan Wood, let's hear from the Packers head coach.
Obviously, anytime a divisional opponent, and who in particular that's kind of had their way with us the last 3 times here at Lambeau, I was just really proud, and I think of the energy our guys brought, not only in the first half, but I thought we matched it to start the second half as well. Defensively, it was a dominant performance. I mean, I think I looked on the stat sheet and we had something like 9 TFLs, 4 sacks against a really good offensive line, and Jared does a really good job of getting the ball out of his hands. So I thought defensively, just our style of play was exactly what we wanted. And then offensively, I thought we had a good start, and then when there was a lull in there, and there's some things to build upon where we got to be better. And but all in all, I was really happy with our performance. I thought the fans that showed up brought great energy, and the fans that sold their tickets to all those Lions fans got to be better.
There you go. Good job, Matt. Yeah. Good job.
The impact Parsons had on your defense overall.
I thought it was very impactful. I think you look at that interception that Evan Williams had. It looked like he beat Penny pretty quickly. Did I see that correctly in time, real time? It looked like he got a pressure. There was another sack where he got pressure on the quarterback. I'm not quite sure who got the sack, but I thought he was pretty impactful in the limited snaps that he played.
You ended up playing, I don't know, it was, I think, 30 snaps, maybe somewhere in there. Was that higher than you would have guessed, or that you were shooting for coming in? Were you okay with that?
Yes, it's definitely higher than what we anticipated.
So how come, why did the number get so high, you think?
That's a great question. I'll have to investigate.
He got a ton of those snaps on their final possession. So did you feel good about how much he had left in the tank that you guys were able to do that with it?
I could tell, like, he looked like he was gassing a little bit. So that's when we took him out. And you really wanted to end the game right there. And we had a couple opportunities. They converted a couple 4th downs. And obviously that was a hell of a catch by Tesla on the touchdown. But yeah, we wanted to end the game prior to that, obviously. Just couldn't get it done.
Matt, you kind of said you executed your game plan how you wanted. Was the goal to keep the Lions on their toes by spreading the ball around as much as you guys did today?
Yeah, this is how it happens. I think we've got so much confidence, and it's going to be a challenge. There are so many guys when you look at Rome and Jay Reed and Wicks and Tucker and Golden and Musgrave and Josh Jacobs, and then you got Fitzpatrick, Brooks, and Savion. We got a lot of guys that we have a lot of confidence in, and it's going to be a challenge to get all those guys the number of targets that I'm sure that they want. And but obviously that's a good problem to have. We just have a lot of confidence in these guys, and when given the ops, I thought they made the most of their opportunities. I thought, just Rome coming out, we hit a throwback on that first drive. That was a big play, an explosive play, and then hit them on, we call it a blazer route, but basically a post route later on that led to a touchdown for, what was it, a 48-yard gain. I mean, those were big plays in the game, but we got a lot of guys that we feel real comfortable getting the ball to.
It's time for the drive of the game. Which drive was the most impressive by Green Bay today? Which was the most important? It's the Green Bay Football Postgame Show with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on The Fan.
All right, let's get to the drive of the game after hearing from Matt LaFleur. He mentioned the drive of the game. And Matt, it's 2 plays.
Yep.
It's got to be one of the shortest drives of the game we've ever done on a postgame show. This is how the drive started.
Here's Love, heaving it down the field. And he's got his man. He's got Dobbs.
Talking about great athletes. This is an outstanding job. A tight split, widen them, and then take the roof off on a post route and perfectly thrown football. And look at Dobbs going right up. I talked to you, Jim. I said Dobbs has to be the guy. He's probably going to have the biggest game for these wide receivers if they're going to win versus most of the man coverage you're going to get.
You know, that's the thing. I got nothing against Tony Romo. I got nothing against Tony Romo whatsoever. I think he's fine at what he does. I appreciate the fact he's from Burlington, Wisconsin, and all of that. That's all good. But that point there that he brought up about, well, Dobbs is going to have a big game. And he played well. Romeo Dobbs played well, right? Deserves a pat on the butt, whatever else. I still am of the belief, and maybe I'll be dead wrong this year, that Tucker Kraft is going to be the guy that's going to lead this team in receptions, on most weeks going throughout the year. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Romeo Dobbs is going to be the guy that's going to lead this team in receptions throughout the year. Maybe it's going to be super close and the leader in receptions, so the third or fourth guy will be separated by like 3 or 4 catches. I think in a perfect world, that's what Matt LaFleur would like. In a perfect world, Matt LaFleur would like there not to be much difference, and that way it makes it harder to game plan. However, like you've seen with Micah Parsons, if you have a difference maker at wide receiver that is that much better than their opponent, then you feed the beast. You feed Devontae Adams as much as possible when he's in Green Bay. And right now, you haven't had anybody separate themselves to necessitate feeding the beast.
Right. And we didn't see any receiver really do that today, I think, either, based on the box score of, no complaint by any means. We were hearing the story, all preseason and training camp, though, that it had seemed like Matthew Golden was ascending to that weapon, right? He was going to be the number 1 guy. He was already listed on the depth chart as a starter right away, and he was really assuring everyone that he was going to be the top target. But we know that also Jordan Love, even in years past with this receiving core, the group he's had now for 2-3 years, like, he's always spread the ball around to these guys. I think we know he has some sort of relationship with Romeo Dobbs, but ultimately it's really not a necessity for him to get it to just one guy.
No doubt about it. Tommy Wirtz over there, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Packers get the win. And again, it was a great win for the Packers, 27-13. And I loved, and you heard me scream, Matt LaFleur addressing the media. And Matt LaFleur voluntarily in his opening monologue says, hey, great job by the Packer fans that were here. And those of you that weren't, pretty much try and do better, right? Don't sell your damn tickets. I saw numerous people on social media before this game complaining about all the Lions blue that was in the stands, people that were at the game. And then when you saw it on TV and they zoomed out, you really could see how much blue was in the stands. Joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law, he is Packers beat writer for the Green Bay Press-Gazette, Ryan Wood. Ryan, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
How's it going, guys?
It's going really good. I'm really excited by what I saw. I will tell you that I predicted 27-17 Lions on Friday when we made our predictions. I'm so happy that I was wrong. I did not think this offense would gel this quick, considering they really haven't played together, since last season.
Think about how the Micah Parsons effect influences everything, right? Because Jordan Love goes out there today, and he knows that he doesn't have to be Superman. He knows he doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers. All he has to do is take what's there, because there were multiple times today you can punt it back to a defense that has Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary rushing, Lucas Van Ness, who had a really good training camp, gets a sack today. When you're a quarterback, you know it's not all on you. You've got the running game that wore down the Lions late in the game. You've got that defense you can rely on. It makes everything so much easier, right? And I think that that's what you saw today. You saw a very comfortable Jordan Love. Part of that, a big part of that, is because the pass protection, the offensive line gave up nothing. I mean, they kept him clean all day. But another part of that is psychology, right? It's between the ears of, hey, this is a really well-rounded, very good roster that you've got. You can rely on your teammates. His comfort level really stood out.
The other part about this, Ryan, in talking about how this all works as one and together. And we talk about Micah Parsons and, okay, he's going to get 12 sacks or 13 sacks, and he's going to be a beast as far as rushing the quarterback. The other thing I thought about driving into the postgame show was, man, I know Rashawn Gary's been around a while, but don't you think he can help Rashawn Gary out a little bit too, as far as what he uses to set up different tackles and what has worked for him in the past and helping Van Ness? Like, all of this is going to help everybody along that line. And then you saw him move him over center at one point in this game to give him a different look, halfway messing around in his very first game out there.
So Lucas Van Ness's sack came with him at defensive tackle, and I asked Micah Parsons about it after the game. They call that package cheetah, right? To get those three speed rushers on the field together with Lucas Van Ness inside, which we kind of, I think, all wondered if that might happen with Micah Parsons here on the edge. There's Lucas Van Ness, who played inside a lot in college for 2 seasons in Iowa. Does he move inside? Well, yeah, he does. He's going to be inside more. And when you get those three guys on the field together, I asked Micah Parsons what he thought of the package, and he kind of lit up and was like, yeah, I like that a lot. And he also said, I'm going to get Lucas Van Ness the best season he's ever had. He loves Lucas Van Ness's unselfishness, his first impressions. They've connected really quickly. He said, I'm going to make sure he gets a ton of plays because that's the type of player he is. I think it's nothing but good things for a guy like Lucas Van Ness and obviously Rashawn Gary. I predicted coming into today, and it's off to a good start. Rashawn Gary's never had a double-digit sack season. This is going to be his first. He will have at least 10 sacks this year. Book that. He's off to a 1-1 start. He's got a sack today. That's all Micah Parsons' effect, right? And then it's interesting. Micah Parsons had 3 pressures today, and including the sack, which he finally got on the board for late in the game. But of the 3, the sack was the least influential. I mean, his very first snap, 3rd and 7, he bull rushes Penei Sewell. He forces Jared Goff to dump it off quickly to Jahmyr Gibbs in the flat on 3rd and 7. It's a 2-yard loss. The Lions go 3 and out and punt to start the game. His second came on Evan Williams' pick with a wicked inside speed rush. I mean, Micah Parsons starts upfield and then just cuts it like a running back cutting in the hole.
Yep.
He cuts it inside, and that interception was all Micah Parsons. Like he only played 30 snaps today, but in those 3 pressures, they changed the game.
It's so good. Ryan Wood joining us from the Green Bay Press Gazette, Packers beat writer. He's down there at Lambeau Field. Follow him on Twitter at @ByRyanWood. He'll join us after each and every one of these Green Bay games here on the postgame show. Plus, he'll be weekly guest on the Mason Crosby Show on Green and Gold Mondays most weeks at 9:20 a.m. On Tuesdays, he'll be on with Mitch Nellis at noon. And then on Fridays, Football Fridays, he'll be on with me at 2:40. So you'll hear a lot of Ryan Wood during the Green Bay season going ahead. We'll hear from Micah Parsons coming up in a little bit as well. Let's talk a little bit about the linebackers, because there's already been talk. I had one guy call in and say, Quay Walker. Like, I'm not sold on Quay Walker. Tommy and I thought he played pretty good. Then we were also talking about Edgerrin Cooper and what he might be. I mean, is it possible that this team could have 3 first-team All-Pros on the defensive side of the ball when this thing is all said and done at the end of the season between Cooper, Parsons, and McKinney?
It is possible. I don't think that's outlandish at all because they already have 2. Xavier McKinney, bona fide first-team All-Pro. Micah Parsons, bona fide first-team All-Pro. If Edgerrin Cooper becomes what the Packers truly believe he will become in his second season, building off last year's impressive rookie season, he could. That's the type of high-end potential that he brings on the second level. So, and you saw that today. He was all over the field. I agree with you. Quay Walker was really, really good today. I think if the most impressive thing defensively to me was not the pass rush. And they were like Oprah, like you get a sack, everyone's getting a sack, but that's what we expect from this pass rush. The way that they shut down that Lions rushing game, I mean, Dan Campbell, that Lions offense, they want to do one thing. They want to pound the ball down your throat, down the middle. And without Kenny Clark, I think we all had some really good questions on like, okay, how's that going to go? It went pretty well. I don't have the final stats in front of me, but it was like, 50 yards? Like they didn't get anything on the ground game all day. Part of that's because they were trailing from the start, but that's never stopped the Lions before. That's their offensive foundation. That's their blueprint. They run the ball. And the Packers knew that coming in. I think you highlight two unsung heroes today. One is Quay Walker, who has a mic. The weakness in his game historically has always been taking on blocks in the middle, taking on blocks in the box. That was not an issue today. He was very good. And then Colby Wooden. I asked Colby Wooden after the game, listen, there's been 2 talking points since the trade. 1, holy cow, Micah Parsons here. And 2, holy cow, what's going to happen to the run defense without Kenny Clark? Did you take that personal? And he looked straight at me. He's like, yeah, I did. His father called him Thursday. His father's a truck driver, so he spends a lot of time in the truck. He listens to FM radio. He hears the sports talk, and he called him and said, shut him up. This is what they're saying. Go out there and shut him up. Colby Wooden has 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 on the goal line that really pinned the Lions deep. If he plays like that week in and week out, and that's a big if, but if he does, that goes a long way to helping that post-Kenny Clark Packers run defense.
They're talking on the broadcast, Ryan Wood, about how from the Lions standpoint, Dan Campbell and those guys, they were happier to get Kenny Clark out of the division more than they were worried about Micah Parsons. That seems crazy to me.
Well, it's crazy after the day, isn't it?
It was crazy before
because at
today.
the end of the day, a defensive tackle, even a really good one, and Kenny Clark is
but he's
Jeff
not
Hackett
Aaron.
thinks
He's not Aaron Donald.
No, he's not. That's the thing. Even a good defensive tackle, Kenny Clark's a good defensive. He's not Aaron Donald.
No.
But any defensive tackle this side of Aaron Donald, if you're going to compare that value, that impact, the significance of that role in a defense to what Micah Parsons does, you need to be cut off. Like that's lunacy, because elite pass rushers don't just win games in this league. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Elite pass rushers win championships. That's what they do. That's what a Micah Parsons can do. Hasn't done it before. Maybe he hasn't had all the right pieces before. Maybe this Packers team is different. So, no. If you're Aaron Donald, okay. But any defensive tackle this side of Aaron Donald, you're not going to have the same impact on the game as just an elite pass rusher.
Totally agree with you. One more thing, because I know you got to go write a story and do all your stuff. What about injury updates? Do we know anything more about the guys that went down dinged up in this game?
You guys might know more than me. I don't know what Matt LaFleur said about Zach Tom after the game. I was in the locker room.
I didn't see either. Tommy's over there. Tommy hasn't seen yet either. I think at the end of the day, the way Kennard came in and played, and the way that Belton even got some time in there at the end was good for Belton, because the game was over at that point, but it got him some run when normally he wouldn't have got run in this game. So in a weird way, it was kind of a blessing for this Packers offensive line. Hopefully it's nothing, too serious long term.
First of all, I don't know about the Zach Tom injury, but I thought it was promising that he didn't have to go back to the locker room. Zach Tom finished the game sitting on the sidelines watching Darian Kennard do work, and it wasn't the trade that got massive headlines, obviously, but the Packers sent a 6th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles late in camp because they wanted more depth at offensive tackle. Darian Kennard comes in today. He played really well. I mean, Josh Jacobs' rushing touchdown came when Darian Kennard was at right tackle. He had a 15-yard run with a really good kick-out seal block from Darian Kennard against Aiden Hutchinson. For depth, that you can see why that trade was made. And the Packers all last season did not have to rely on their offensive line depth. They had very uncommon, all 5 starters last year played at least 1,000 snaps. But that's unusual. That's rare. You can't count on that repeating itself. First game, week 1, Jordan Love gets flung into Zach Tom. Zach Tom comes off to the sideline. Darian Kennard, who's been here less than 2 weeks, goes onto the field, replaces him at right tackle, and they didn't skip a beat. It's another good trade by Brian Gutekunst.
Absolutely right. Goody looking really good after a week 1 victory against the Lions. Ryan, thank you so much. Look forward to hearing you tomorrow morning with Mason Crosby and Tommy Wirtz at 9:20. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, take care, guys.
Take care. There he is, Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette, checking in here on the Green Bay Football post-game show. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Tommy Wirtz, other side of the glass. We broadcast live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. After the Packers come up victorious today over the Detroit Lions, 27-13. All this nonsense about, they can't beat a really good team. They can't win in their division. Check and check in week 1. And what we think is a really good team, possibly again this year, is Washington on the horizon on Thursday night. They can be 2-0 in both categories and feeling really good about themselves. With Cleveland after that, a winnable game, that's 3-0. And then Dallas, they're going to want to beat Dallas for Micah Parsons. And then it's a bye week. I mean, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I mean, you might be 4-0 going into the bye there, Tommy.
Yeah,
Wirtz.
I mean, I can't wait for Thursday. Like, that's what this game did, right?
Let's go.
Let's get another measuring stick to see where this team is at. Where are they ready to compete at that level with teams that you expect to be the top teams in the conference at the end of the year, right?
It's a different challenge because you have a running quarterback in Daniels. Goff ain't going anywhere.
Right. Yeah, that'll be very interesting. But I also think that this is also, again, now just exposing the luxury of athleticism that they have at the linebacker position. If they throw a spy on Jaden Daniels next week, or on Thursday rather, like, that doesn't bother them. They have that. If they do it with Edgerrin Cooper, then he'll be able to track him down wherever he goes. If they do it with Quay Walker, probably the same as well. I mean, and then on top of that, they don't miss a beat because the other guys then can cover so much ground. They were so, like, there was Dan Orlovsky already, your boy, your favorite. He has actually tweeted out like a video, and it's called like running to the ball is a choice, right? And it's just, we've had some chats here in the YouTube chat, so I'll bring it up, but just the gang tackling approach that Green Bay had, it gives me like, not to make every comparison to Milwaukee, right? But just like this vibe of, we need to handle business every play. It's not today. It's not this season. It's like every play we need to be on top of it. And it's very reminiscent of like a Pat Murphy postgame where it's like, I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't care what happens tomorrow. I don't care what the result is necessarily at the end of the game, because we need to get through every play of this game before we even think about anything else. And Green Bay showcasing it today, especially when they were talking about it with guys like Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, and like I said, Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary. Like, that's about as good as they've looked as Packers, maybe.
Yeah, Lucas Van Ness for sure.
Yeah.
As good as he's looked. We'll hear from Micah Parsons. Ryan Woodard was there, got to listen and talk to Micah Parsons. So we'll hear from Micah Parsons coming up next. 27-13, Packers over the Lions. Green Bay football post-game show here on the some turkey legs, some stuffing, some mac and cheese. Gotta have some mashed potatoes, right? All that good stuff. Now, who knows? Who knows? This division race may be done by the time we get to that point.
Oh, my
Packers
God.
may not have lost a game. You may be talking about an undefeated season on the line going into Thanksgiving.
Gotta be kidding me right now.
Let me tell you
gotta
something.
be kidding me.
You crazy takes last year were telling me, David Reed, best receiver of the organization.
Yes.
I could definitely come on the air after a week 1 victory and talk about maybe they're undefeated by Thanksgiving. Who knows? To me, that made more sense than your Jaden Reed take last year.
I understand.
So I could go a little crazy too.
You also could have waited more than an hour to take the title away from me. Like that. That's all. You just couldn't have waited longer than that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be here with apologies come Thanksgiving if they're still undefeated. Because then you're going to have to call me Swami for the rest of your career. Swami Pfeiffer. Yeah. It's not Sparky, just Swami. That's what we're going to go with. Micah Parsons was the guy today, getting pressure after pressure. And then, of course, that eventually ended up with his first sack of the game.
2nd and 10. His Goff's being chased by Parsons. Look out. He's got him. His first sack as a Green Bay Packer.
They got a twist, another twist. You go up, under, and look at the effort, the speed, the closing ability, the bend. Micah Parsons, you're in Green Bay, and they are happy.
Number 1 for number 1.
How can you not love that? Micah Parsons, you are in Green Bay, and they are happy. Like, I'll take that. That's a nice little line by Romo there at CBS 58. Nicely done. Here's Micah Parsons and Jordan Love post-game on CBS with Tracy Wolfson, and then we'll let you hear what Micah said at his locker.
Limited snaps, but a huge impact. What was it like out there for you today?
I'm not going to lie, I was a little tired. The snap count was probably justified, but, overall, I thought we played really well. Some of these guys on defense were just flying around, set the tone early, even with me out there knowing my snap count. So that really means a lot. They just let me do catch-up. And the way they're playing right now, I can take my time because I think we go for a long run.
I love that. What were the emotions walking out of the tunnel for a new team?
I can't lie, it gave me chills. This environment, the first time, how they embraced me, the fans, this was one-on-one. This was really just a blessing in disguise. My man Jay Love told me it'd be this nice, and I think, nothing he could have said, I could imagine it'd be like this.
Jordan, I know you're glad to have this guy on your side.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And like you said, when the crowd went crazy when he ran out, a special moment. And, glad he's with us.
I'm sure he's glad to have you. You came out and you set the tone with those 2 touchdown drives. How important was it to start fast and be able to start the season this way against your North rival?
It was very important. That was a big goal for us coming in this game. Just start fast, start the season off fast. And that's exactly what we did. And got us off to a hot start there in that first half. So we got to keep building on that.
Congrats on the win. Quick turnaround. Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Beautiful thing. Gave them chills running out to that ovation there to start the game. And they smartly, again, not every organization thinks like this, smartly put him last. They had the defense announced, and they let Micah come out last to get the pop at the end to get this thing going. Very, very smartly done by the Green Bay Packers.
Can I also say something here that just looking back to last season when Green Bay took on Detroit, in game number 1 of that, David Montgomery had 51 rushing yards. Jahmyr Gibbs had 43 rushing yards. Amon-Ra had a 10-yard run, and Jared Goff had 7 yards. Were you doing the math on that as I was going?
I was not.
It's over 100, right?
Yep.
We'll say that for sure. Then 73 yards for David Montgomery in game 2. Jahmyr Gibbs had 65 yards well in game number 2. 4.3 and 5.9 yards a carry, respectively, for each of them. This year, 46 yards
total
for the whole team.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, right? So is it Packers defense is better? Is it the play caller isn't as good? Is it the offensive line for Detroit and their blocking schemes under the new offensive coordinator has changed and isn't as effective? Like, where, if you were breaking up percentages of where you go with this, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm pointing at the offensive coordinator going, Doug, you better figure this out because we ran up and down the field on these dudes, and you ain't telling me Micah Parsons is all of a sudden the big run stuffer that changed this defense. There's no way I'm hearing that if I'm a Lions fan.
Maybe Kenny Clark just sucked at guarding the run. I mean, that was the setup for that.
Yes.
But still, like, that has to be something that, Green Bay had to feel some sort of confidence level in their run stopping ability coming into 2025 in order to give up Kenny Clark in the trade for Micah Parsons. Dallas, it seemed like when Jerry Jones was talking last week, like Kenny was a huge part of it. Like they couldn't believe they were getting Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks.
And in fairness, like if you saw the breakdown after that first game, Cowboys and Eagles, they were much better when Kenny Clark was on the field versus when Kenny Clark wasn't on the field.
Yeah. What is Dallas's record this year?
0-1.
What is Green Bay's record?
1-0, Tommy.
Yeah. So exactly, I understand it's very early, but as far as the trade-off for that, 46 rushing yards would have been the low by quite some number last year for Green Bay against this Detroit Lions team who has not just one, but 2 really good running backs as well on their team.
And that offensive line is good. And to get 4 sacks and I think 8 quarterback hits in this game for this Packers defense is really, really good and something to talk about because not every offensive line is going to be as good as this offensive line. Pass blocking, run blocking, whatever you want to say. So to have that type of game in week 1, I mean, they're going to have some monstrous games on this defense throughout the year. You just have to expect that to be coming. Part of that is going to be the newest addition, Micah Parsons, who talked at his locker after the game.
Did you enjoy the ovation coming out of the tunnel or the ovation after the sack more?
Man, I would say both equally. I felt the stadium beneath me on that sack, but just to embrace me when I first came out, I thought that I never experienced nothing like that before. That was pretty eye-opening.
Take us through your first sack. What was that like?
Bro, I really had to hunt. I kept telling myself, gotta keep hunting. It's the process, the long game. Just keep coming close sucks, but to finally just get it and just get that relief. But now I just gotta work on just increasing my stamina and be able to go on for longer periods of time so that way, they don't score at the end, we get the egg.
That pressure you had on the interception, when you have a move like that, it almost looked like you started upfield and then you cut it back inside. Is that premeditated or is that something you're reading from the right time?
It's a read. I just feel like, start the game off, it was just like, Panay, and it's just biking. You know what I mean? So I just feel like I embraced the matchup and, you got to win those matchups and then later on in the game, they gave my respect. They came back with the chips, the slides, and that's the type of respect that is warranted. But you got to earn it out there in the field. So, I got to coach, show them that I can beat their best. And that's what happened. But, that's going to be a rivalry for the next 4 or 5 years. I'm not going to be able to get rid of him. He's a hell of a player. I told him, I said, you're my new rivalry now. I don't got Lane no more. It's going to be you. I'm going to see you twice a year. So we might as well buckle up. It's going to be a long one. So.
What did you see to make that move inside on that play? What was the read on that to cut it inside?
I didn't see a slide. I just told Kobe. Kobe said, I got you. So I said, just stay into the 2-eye, power to guard. And I knew I had a 1-on-1, and I knew it was a crucial down. So just being where they at, and he gave me exactly what I needed to see.
What was it like both just physically and emotionally out there for you today?
Physically, obviously draining. That was like my first game of just constant snaps, repetition, things like that. So obviously I got to, recover, do everything I need to do to get ready for Thursday. But emotionally, I couldn't be more happy, to get my first win in Lambeau, having amazing fans, just everything overall. It was just a one-on-one experience for me. And, I told J-Lo that's our first win, and I can't wait to keep stacking them. We got a long way to go.
What did you see from the defense just as a whole today with the D-line and then obviously not allowing a touchdown until the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I know. I think you look at that defense, a lot of people underestimated those young guys that really step up, with the trade. And you see D-Wad and you see Kobe, them guys stepping up in the run. I think how many times they rushing, we have them to 50 yards rushing. So we got some real dogs up front. And it allows me to take my time, get all the way back. You see Van Ness, you see KB, you see Rashawn. I don't got to be in a rush to get back. This team is so loaded, and the sky's the limit. I think we're going to be a really good football team.
What does that do for you guys when the offense gets off to such a fast start that you can go out there and have that momentum on defense?
I just think it lets us set it off. We do what we do. We keep getting back, flipping the field, even the punter wheeling, just doing what he has to do. It's just complimentary, and it just gives us even more confidence. We know what type of quarterback we got, running back, type of offense we have to coach the floor. So we know if we could get them that ball back, then we can do what we love to do, and that's get after the quarterback, which we did a good job of tonight.
You're listening to Micah Parsons here on The Fan after the Packers win over the Lions.
There with Jordan pumping up the crowd.
Yeah, I'm just happy, bro. I think it's back to what football is need to be. The trade is done. We got to win. We're 1-0. Now I'm around some really great guys, really great organization, really great fan base, and a really great football team. So now we can put all the nonsense beside. I'm healthy. I'm able to get off the field and get ready for another game Thursday night and just keep trying to win games and just be what ball's about.
I absolutely love it. That's not all of it. It's like 13 minutes long. We're not playing all 13 minutes, but I absolutely love what Micah Parsons had to say there. The other thing, too, that he had to say was, he was doing that podcast or whatever. I had saw that he said he ain't doing it. Like right now, he's got to focus on just doing football and then being in Green Bay. That's what it's all about. Then I saw another quote from Micah Parsons that he came in on Tuesday to get, medical, whatever you do on Tuesday. And like the whole place was filled with players. On their off day or whatever. And he's like, I know people are always like, hey, dog, like there ain't nothing to do in Green Bay. He's like, there's stuff to do in Green Bay. He's like, but these dudes are here putting in time and trying to get ready for the game. Like that means a lot for him. He wasn't seeing that stuff in Dallas, Tommy.
Yeah. And like I was talking about with the tackling approach even today, it's just that even when you have a guy like Micah Parsons get brought into your organization, that means your team believes in you, right?
Correct.
Like there is a belief that comes now with Micah Parsons trades happening and what we expect now from Green Bay. It has gone up everywhere, but that is because now Goody and LaFleur and policy, whoever is involved in this move, like that is now like the all-in move because they believe they have the pieces around them that are going to complement them very well and get elevated from an elite player like Micah Parsons play as well.
Hey, I want you to read the Cornelius post on the dugout chat on YouTube.
I know which one you're talking about.
We were talking about the idea with Ryan Wood, and he goes, I don't think that's far-fetched at all. Where you could have Xavier McKinney, you could have Edgerrin Cooper, and Micah Parsons all be first-team All-Pro after this season. That's 3 first-team All-Pro dudes on the same defense.
Yeah, and right here, Cornelius comparing it to the Baltimore Ravens with the levels of Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed.
That's Hall of Famers.
Those are all Hall of Famers. That would be crazy. That would be nuts.
That Ravens defense was crazy. And I'm not expecting them to dominate like the Ravens defense, but I'll tell you this, they're going to be better than last year's defense. I guarantee you that. No Jair Alexander, I get it. This defense will be better than last year's Packers defense.
Was it called Ball So Hard? Was that Miami or was that Baltimore's? I think it was Ball, like, because it was Baltimore, right?
I don't know.
Like, can this defense be like Cheese So Hard or something? Like, I don't know what, like, where we got to come up with a nickname before everyone else does.
That was really lame so hard, right there.
The
Cheese So Hard. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Again,
I control your camera.
I'm just saying, like, you were doing a comedy show last night. You should be better at this.
Okay. Well, first of all, like, I had IT Ed there yesterday. Thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah. So you'll have some evidence that I am funnier than coming up with nicknames on sports talk radio. Yes.
That's good. That's good to hear. I think Tommy's pretty funny overall. Packers win 27-13. Take a quick time out, come back. If you still want to have a board, you can. We got one more segment left here, but I want to hear from Jordan Love. Got to hear from Josh Jacobs. All coming up. Packers with the victory. 27-13 over the Lions. Quick turnaround coming up on Thursday. We'll be right here after that game and after every game all season long. Myself, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Tommy Wirtz, other side of the glass. Don't forget tomorrow, Pack-A-Day Radio, 8 to 9 with Andy Herman. 9 to 11. It's the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. Middays with Thunder from, 11 to 2. And then I'm on the air with Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, myself, Charlie Usen, from 2 until 5. Just keep it locked to the Fan each and every day going forward. And then, of course, Tommy has his pregame show before every Brewers game that he's been doing all season long, 60 minutes or longer before Brewers games this year. And it'll be no different. Brewers coming off of a sweep of the Pirates.
Yeah, that was awesome. What about Pack So Hard? Is Pack better than Cheese?
Welcome back. Packers get the win 23-17 over the Detroit Lions. 1-0, folks. 1-0 over the Lions. 1-0 over a good team in the National Football League. 1-0 in the division. Already off to a better start than they were throughout last year. Defensive play of the game. Yes, I could go Micah Parsons. But if we're being honest, I've played so many Micah Parsons, CBS 58 highlights. I can't do it again. How about this one?
Parsons in on this play, which is a 3rd and 7. Pass intercepted. Jumping in front of St. Brown. There was pressure from Parsons, and Evan Williams has the theft.
This is why you make this trade.
Why? Because Micah Parsons is the one that pressured him into making that throw. And Evan Williams made a great play. I mean, he dove in front of the dude to make the catch. But again, it wasn't accurate because Micah Parsons was applying pressure.
Can I say that I actually don't know? Like, I understand why you would choose that play as defensive play of the game. But I have a different play that I would like to play. And I don't even know if we've gotten to it yet on this show.
Wow.
But I think this should be consideration for defensive play.
Rushing 4. Goff taken down at the 32-yard line. Van Ness has had a big game, and he was in on the sack.
You're exactly right. He is the one guy who has really come on big time, and you're going to see him have a great year. Just pushes the pocket, and I believe you're going to see him take off this year.
Sparky, he was lined up at nose tackle for this. He was on the inside. Do you know what is the coolest name ever for a package? Cheetah. That was awesome when Ryan Wood said that. I am all in on Cheetah package of Green Bay Packer football. I know they're going to rotate that too. You already know they're going to give Parsons looks in that Cheetah package. They're going to give Gary looks at it because why not, right? I thought seeing promise out of Lucas Van Ness is something we have not seen yet. And Micah Parsons, it took him 20 minutes for us to realize, like, oh, okay, maybe there is something there that LVN could be a huge part of this Packers defense this season.
What do you do when Micah Parsons has his hand in the dirt and at the last second, Edgerrin Cooper walks up and stands next to him on that side? What do you do?
Probably
you're screwed. It's over. You can't stop them. That running back better see it at the very end, because if they're both coming from the same side, toodles to you.
What if they're just both standing too? Like in that mug, right?
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean,
yes.
I just think that this team has the most athletic defense, and in the NFL, it's all about putting out the most athletic players on the team.
Right.
And this, I would love to see what other team has more athleticism in their front seven,
so fast.
Then the Green Bay Packers.
And they hustle, like you said earlier. Gang tackling was at a premium today for this Green Bay Packers team. Let's see, what else do we have coming over there on the dugout chat over there at YouTube?
Yeah, Josh has a good one here that's fun. What I learned today is I would not want to be a quarterback for an opposing team. I think that actually is a pretty fair compliment. He also compared the defense to more of a Tampa Bay defense, like the
Warren Sapp,
John Lynch,
Sean Lynch. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the one we're talking about there. I have Nathan here saying they tried to act like Micah Parsons was a liability in run defense. My response was they'll just keep lining him up in different spots.
They're move them all over.
Well.
Right. And then the quarterback's going to have to try and find them. Don't got to worry about trying to find Jordan Love today. Couple touchdown passes, no interceptions. One got called back because of a penalty. He had one drive that was a little suspect. But outside of that, Jordan Love played well too. And this is what he had to say.
What does it mean to beat those guys and get a week 1 victory and the things that you hadn't done?
No, it's amazing. Obviously, I think a big goal for us was to be able to come in here and start the season off fast and start the season on the right note. So to come in here week 1 at home and get a dominant win like that is amazing, and exactly what we've been working for. So it feels great.
Jordan, you guys talked all week about getting off to a fast start because you didn't do that in some of these games last year. Like, what was the key to doing that offensively today?
Just making plays, just going out there and executing at a high level and making plays. So like you said, it was a big goal for us to come in here and start fast. And, I feel like you said, in our past couple games against these guys, we've got off to some slow starts and put ourselves behind. So it was a big goal for us to come out here and start fast, and we did exactly that. Came out, opening drive, scored points. So it's exactly how you want to start right there.
I think you were 4 for 4 on your first 4 third downs. Was there any key to that, or the plan coming in for those?
No, I think I think we had a great plan coming in for our third downs, and obviously third downs just comes down to executing, going out there and making plays. And I think early on they were playing a lot of man, and guys going out there and winning their one-on-one matchups. I think the O-line did a great job. They gave me a lot of time back there, kept me clean. So I think it always starts up front, and I think they did a great job, and were able to have us help us get some opportunities down the field to throw the ball. So it just comes down to executing.
Speaking of third downs, Jordan, touchdown to Tucker, I believe that was the third down.
Mhm.
We're just seeing that one because just watching on TV, there wasn't a lot of space there, but you threw it in a perfect spot.
Yeah, tight window. Tuck's running this route, got quarters coverage, and was able to get behind the linebacker and inside the safety, and gave me enough room. And I trusted him, just put the ball out there, and he made a great catch right there.
Josh is a great player, just 8 yards at the half. But what's it like to have a leader like that who waits for the game to come to him and then can get you big touchdowns like you did?
Yeah, Josh, obviously, he always wants to, have the rock in his hand, and that's what type of player he is. But I think their game plan was come here and stop the run, and they're doing a good job of that. And so we struggled early on to get the run game going, but I think we made those big plays in the pass game. So obviously, Josh is he's a pro. He's going to wait for those opportunities to come his way and just keep going.
Jordan, when we talked to you, I think this week, you said it might take a little bit of time for you to, be in rhythm and connecting with the receivers because of all the injuries in camp. Just what were your thoughts on how you guys were kind of connected and clicking, and just how everyone caught the ball and made those plays?
Yeah, like you said, I think everybody's just making plays. When the ball came their way, obviously, like I said before, just going out there and winning their matchups on some of their routes and just executing at a high level. So, that's always the test, is just coming in here and executing. And like you said, we had some guys banged up through camp and missed some practice time. So, I missed some practice time, which is, it's never ideal, but you got to find ways to, stay focused and stay sharp throughout the week. And I think those guys have done a great job of that. And obviously came to the field and just got to go out there and make those plays.
There is Jordan Love. Again, not all of it, another 12 minutes there of Jordan Love. But that was my big thing coming in when I thought the Lions were going to win this game on Friday when we were making our predictions. Was I just wasn't convinced the chemistry was going to be there when these guys haven't played together. And not only was it was there in spades there in the first half. Like passing-wise, Jordan Love couldn't have looked, I don't think, any better. He missed, who was it, Musgrave maybe down the left sideline, or was it
it was Kraft? That was one, yep.
Down the left sideline, he overthrew him. Outside of that, everything else was pretty much where it was supposed to be.
His passer rating in the first half was over 140.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what more you want to get out of Jordan Love. Can I bring up one more Micah Parsons note here, because I want to give people some hope again. I was just looking curious to see how much, because Ryan Wood, if you want to follow him on Twitter, had tweeted out that when Mike Parsons was talking, he did expect his workload to begin to ramp up heading into Thursday, right? So Parsons today played 29 snaps, had 1 sack, 3 quarterback pressures in that time. And for reference, I wanted to go back and look at Khalil Mack as well when that trade had happened, because it happened in a similar time
frame.
frame.
To the Bears, should have went to the Packers. The Bears had a worse record, so the Raiders made the deal with the Bears instead of the Packers.
42 defensive snaps in that game. It felt like Khalil Mack played a lot more than Micah Parsons did when you go back and look at that game. That was his season low, and he averaged about 55 snaps, 54.8 for the remaining games this season. So now, after this game where he played the 42 snaps, his next snap counts jumped up to 48, 50, and 51 in the next 3 weeks that followed. So assuming that there is some sort of ramp up, probably 35, 40, 45. You know, go by fives or something along that line is what you can expect from Micah Parsons, in my opinion, at least.
What you want is play him whatever you got to play him against Washington. You hope that you're up by enough where you don't have to play him for a good portion of the fourth quarter to rest him, and then let him go as long as he wants in that Cowboys game, because you have a bye week after.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't want to have that be the mindset like all season, right? Like he's got to ramp up to be an every down type guy or want to be an every down type guy based on what the Packers are when he is on the field and what they are investing in Micah Parsons, right? Like he's going to be on the field significantly more after this first game, but to get that little snippet out of him already, and even just that little snippet, now I'll bring it back to Jordan Love, like gives a lot more hope for this. And not that there was, disdain or anything with going into this season for the Green Bay Packers, but as far as elevating conversations into deep playoff runs, like this was a great resume builder for Green Bay on that.
Coming up on the other side, we'll name the MVP of the game. Tommy had put it out on Twitter at the Fan Milwaukee. You have time to vote on it. Go take a vote on that. Your options, Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, or other. Comment below, and we'll give you who the MVP of the game is coming up here momentarily. And we'll hear from Josh Jacobs as well coming up on the other side of a quick timeout. Packers come up victorious 27-13 over the Detroit Lions. Next up, the Washington Commanders coming up on Thursday night. Green Bay Football Postgame Show live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Packers get the win 27-13. 27-13 13 over the Detroit Lions. Jordan Love on the day, 16-22, 188, a couple of touchdowns. Touchdown passes to Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft. Jaden Reed, who was questionable coming into the game. I didn't think he was going to play, if we're being honest.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't think he was going to play.
That's just a great segue, because my turning point of the game, it's this play from Jaden Reed.
Would come up big in this game, and he has so far. Here he is throwing to the end zone. He's got a touchdown pass to Jaden Reed. Packers on the board again.
That's when you knew that Matt LaFleur was like, oh, I'm about to cook today.
Right.
Like I'm about to, like, if 2 plays, get the big play to Dobbs, and then you score right after it. Didn't waste any time. I think it was a 47-yard and a 17-yard was that touchdown
correct.
from Jaden Reed.
Yep.
Like, that's when you knew Matt LaFleur, when he was going to need to, and I know some people were a little bit perturbed with his cautious approach in the second half, but you knew at that moment that Matt LaFleur was confident in his ability as a play caller during that drive.
All I want to know, if you got your popcorn ready.
Who was the most valuable player for Green Bay today?
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Who stood out the most? It's time to announce the MVP of the game on the Green Bay Football Postgame Show with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on The Fan.
So our guy Tommy Wirtz took to social media, took to X, Twitter, whatever you call it. Green Bay takes on the Lions in week 1. Who was your MVP of the game for the Packers? We'll do this every week. I think it's fun to do it every week. Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, or other, comment below. And several of you commented below. Hunter tweets at the Fan Milwaukee and says the entire O-line for sure.
It's a great answer.
Fair, and I'm down with it.
Yep.
And Zach Tom goes down, and you bring in Kennard. He plays well. Even at the end, Belton comes in for the last 4 or 5 minutes. I thought he played okay at right tackle. You're rotating Ryan and Jordan Morgan at right guard. There was no big
you couldn't tell when
there.
either one of them was in,
Yes.
right? Like, you
Correct.
didn't notice whenever it was. Like, no one was getting beat, right? They
Yep.
weren't missing any beats. So if they want to have that rotation and it's that result again, I'm okay with that as well.
So that is a couple of people said offensive line. Dustin tweets at the Fan Milwaukee, says Dan Whelan had 2 great punts. They completely pinned Detroit back. Couple of votes for the punter, Tommy.
There is a couple, right? Because on top of it, too, DC also says Whalen, and he would. There was a point when the commentary team even mentioned it, Romo and Nance, when they had said, like, how often do punt plays take 16 seconds when there's like no return on
Right.
the, like, they didn't have anything go crazy. I thought Danny Whalen looked awesome today, and he was booming some punts. And, like, immediately all I got to do is hear from the kicker, like, how amazing Danny Whalen's leg is. But he did have a great showcase. I think he had one that was 61 yards.
Yeah.
Like, he was killing it.
Absolutely killing it. So Love, Micah Parsons, or other. And I'm going to vote Micah Parsons, and we'll see where the votes are at right now. Right now, 66% with Jordan Love, Tommy Wirtz. 66, 24% only for Micah Parsons, 10% for other. And the funny part about this is this dude, Jack, tweets at the Fan Milwaukee, anyone who says Love didn't watch this game. That goof couldn't run without tripping over his own feet and trying to throw interceptions. He was saved by tremendous receivers.
Did any receiver give you tremendous vibes today?
I don't
Tremendous
think-
is a big word,
I don't
right?
think there was a special catch.
No, like, it was everything. Like I said, they didn't drop the ball. Did you see that one where Wicks just, like, trapped it so
Yes.
beautifully, right? Like, he does not make that catch last year. It
Nope.
feels like there was the one ball that they went for it before they kicked the field goal. Instead of, I think it was like, 3rd and 3. It wasn't like he missed Tucker Kraft underneath. It was a bad read, but he put the ball right on target for Romeo Doubs too. That catchable ball, not a drop necessarily, but catchable ball. I was surprised to see Jordan Love have that much love for his MVP of the game. Another one here from Michael. He says Edgerrin Cooper was also his MVP. I think that you could absolutely make an argument for that as well too, because it is, you just got to keep pounding it to you guys. Like, the luxury of Edgerrin Cooper in the middle of your defense, it's going to, the stock is going to rise up. Like, get on that bandwagon now, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Dream Big tweets at the Fan Milwaukee, says the defensive line, Colby Wooden, Devontae Wyatt, Van Ness, Parsons, Gary. Like, that makes sense too. you know you're really good when nobody can agree on who should be the MVP, and everybody that comments all make good arguments for who they think the MVP of the game should be. That's when you know it's a true team performance at the end of the day.
And I think that's got to be some of the more optimistic stuff that you say too, is like this whole team looked really good today. They looked ready, right? And the sky was falling in preseason when the starters couldn't move the ball, when they were in for 2 drives, and no one saw anything exciting on the defensive side. Now, all of this was pre-Micah Parsons as well during that stretch, but this was not something to say like, oh, I'm ready to see the next step from this guy. I'm ready to see the next thing from this guy. It was like, I'm waiting for the team to get back out on the field again, because I think this team is going to be competitive week in and week out after a performance like that.
The other part about this too is when you think about how this is going to progress and how this takes its next steps going forward. You saw corner blitzes coming today from the corner. I mean, Hafley didn't come into this thing last year. If you remember how conservative Hafley was at the beginning of the year, remember?
Yep.
He wasn't doing anything. Everybody was playing back. It was pitch and catch against the defense. Hardly no aggression. He came out in week 1 today and showed the aggression that he showed at the end of last year.
Right. And it was against a quality opponent. It wasn't that they notched up 13 sacks from beating up on the AFC South, right? Like, this is a team that beat you twice last year. Did they beat them twice the year before as well? Like, had it been that long since the Packers had beat the Lions? And I think that was Thanksgiving they won. I think they split with them 2 years ago.
The Lions game at Thanksgiving is when they embarrassed the Lions on Thanksgiving with Jordan Love, right?
Right. So it's the first time they beat them since 2 years ago Thanksgiving. Like, that's huge for this team morale on top of it after a season last year where everyone was disappointed how they performed against the division. Now you got that out of the way immediately. Like you said at the beginning of the show, Packers already matched their division win total in week 1.
I'm telling you right now what is happening after this show is done. When this show is done, I'm going to do the production, right? Do the promo for tomorrow's Wisconsin Sports Daily Show. Then I'm going to drive home. And while I'm driving home, I'm going to stream the ticket in Detroit and listen to hear what those Lions fans are saying. Because I really want to hear whether or not they're giving the Packers credit or they're just crushing their own dudes.
They're crushing their own dudes.
You think so?
Crushing their own dudes.
Yeah, probably right. Josh Jacobs was crushing defensive linemen on linebackers for the Lions there in the second half after a slow start in the first half. Here's what Josh Jacobs had to say afterwards.
It hurt ourselves in those games, whether it was penalties, fumbles, drops, protections, things like that. So we knew if we came in and we limited that, then it would be a good game, and they are great, opponents, divisional rivals. But we knew that if we came in and, we limit our penalties, then we'll be all right.
Josh, what did the fast start mean, just in general, to get up on them?
Yeah.
7-0 on the first drive, 10-0 quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was something that was big just going into this offseason. A lot of the games last year, we started real slow. So that was something that we try to, as an offense, just emphasize on coming in and, striking early. And we just happened to come out and do that today.
You got offense and defense playing well. What does that kind of say about this team so far?
Yeah, man, I mean, first game in Lambeau and how long? Almost a decade. With this group of guys, we felt like, we had something special coming in. And to be able to see all 3 phases ball out, the biggest thing for me against that, that team was I didn't want us cut on the tape and feel like they all physical. And that was something that was big for me personally, just coming in and talking to the team. So to see the way that we played, we had a lot of energy, we had a lot of juice. We came out there and we was physical. I liked how we played. If we keep doing that week to week, we're going to be well off.
Josh, this is the thing, and that is some of the Josh Jacobs. I just want to point something out that I said when they got Josh Jacobs, and I would like to change my opinion of what I said.
Good. Feel free.
When they got Josh Jacobs, I said, this is a 2-year deal and we're out, and hopefully Marshawn Lloyd is ready and we go, right? That's what I was thinking. Now, I don't want Josh Jacobs going anywhere ever. Like, he is, forget the football side, but he's a good dude. He's a great leader. They respect him. They buy into what he says. He came from that crappy Raiders organization, and I want him here. Plus, Marshawn Lloyd can't stay healthy. But besides that, just the dude. You want that dude leading and rallying the troops. That's what you want. So you have Love, and now you have Jacobs, who I guarantee you now feels like, okay, I can have more of a voice. Last year, I was trying to feel my way earlier in the year, trying to see where I fit in. Now he can have that leadership voice. And you talk about the physicalness. You saw it up front with the Packers offensive line. You saw it on the defensive side of the ball.
And even like he could just have the leadership voice like for the offense, right? I mean, he kind of was the team leader, it felt like a lot last year, but now you have a guy like Micah Parsons who's already assumed that role and taken on that challenge with production already today with 1 sack and with leadership speak all throughout since he's been in Green Bay already. Yep. Yeah. So now Josh Jacobs can really just hone in on being that ambassador for the Green Bay Packers on the offensive side and take a little bit of that load off of him as he has to be the vocal leader for the entire team or the spokesman for the Green Bay Packers. Now he can just do that for just the offense.
Correct. You know, that's the other thing too, is when we talk about the leadership from this team, when we talk about LaFleur, if you remember back in Love's first year as a starter, that was the one thing he was hammering on Love after that first year was like, dude, you've got to be more vocal. You have to be more of a leader for this team. We have to have more vocal leadership. And now you fast forward, even though maybe he didn't have the year that he wanted last year, now there are several leaders all of a sudden. Because Xavier McKinney on the defensive side of the ball, I think he's a leader too. When they brought him in, he's a young guy. He's taken on that leadership role. Yes, you lose a leader in Kenny Clark, but like you said, getting a Micah Parsons in there, you feel great. And which just makes you feel all the more better about everything else that's going on too. All right, that will do it for today's Green Bay football postgame show. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Packers get the victory. It was a beautiful thing. Yes, it was. 27-13. Packers over the Detroit Lions. Tomorrow morning, Andy Herman, Pack a Day Radio Show from 8 to 9. 9 to 11, the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder and Ellis, presented to you by Verizon. Then it's Middays with Thunder. He's going to have Peter Bukowski on his show coming up tomorrow. And what time did he say that was at? I missed it. Thunder has Peter Bukowski tomorrow at 11:20, so that'll be cool. You'll hear Ryan Wood on the Mason Crosby Show at 9:20. I'll have Jacob Westendorf on from Packer Report at 2:40 tomorrow. Keep it tuned into The Fan, whether it be on YouTube, search The Fan Milwaukee, on your Odyssey app. Find us wherever you download your favorite podcast app. Enjoy the rest of your night. Packers win! Packers win! Go Packers!